Oh, hello everybody. Welcome to the August Solidus Meetup. This month we've got Elia speaking about Deface. So yeah, I think I'll pass it over to him. Let's see. There we are. All right.
Hi everyone. So let me share the screen. So today we are gonna talk about the mic's on. About Deface. I think almost everyone in the Solidus community or anyone that has that had anything to do with Solidus at least knows about this gem, maybe just the name, or maybe they had to you had to use it in some way, and more or less like throwaway. But it's a complicated gem, let's say, and it has plenty of gotchas. So the idea is today to just explain how it works, what gotchas it has, some tips and tricks that can be useful when using it, and in the end, if you know Deface, you probably love to hate it, but in the end, all the times we tried to think about replacement, we ended up deciding that there was no good alternative, so we stuck with it. So in this case, let's just learn how it works. And so what Deface does is it modifies existing views, and this is very important for Solidus and e-commerces, and let's say you can use it in other places with similar problems, because we inherit from Solidus a bunch of views. The whole backend is a big bundle of views and controllers, and the front end is less of a problem usually, because for what I know, most stores will replace it entirely, or will just copy most of it within the application. But yet, probably everyone is using a device for the authentication, or almost everyone. And even if that in Solidus out the device, you get some use of Deface to modify the original views. So this is what it does. So the idea is you have all these inherited views, and maybe you want to do a little change, and the only way you can do that without Deface will be to copy entirely the original view, copy it within your application, and modify the path that you want to modify. But then, of course, the next time you upgrade Solidus, you potentially get an update on that view. So you will need to go back, find the updated view, compare it to the one you modified, try to understand what you modified and where, and try to reapply your modifications manually on the updated view. Or, which is equally viable and popular, let's say. Unfortunately, you don't do nothing, and sooner or later the application will break or the views will be broken in some way. In these, at some point in the Solidus, or no, I guess it's prehistory, Deface came along with the possibility to just change a little bit of a view, and we'll see a couple of examples later on. So if you are familiar with how you modify the DOM with the jQuery, you can think about the face in a similar way, although there are some differences there that we will go into later. So this is a list of changes that can be performed on an existing view. We can add an attribute, insert some code. We'll see which kind of code we can insert, and into what we are inserting things. But we can insert after the given selector, before it, at the bottom of a list, or at the top, remove something, remove attributes, replace some contents, replace entirely the selector or just its contents, set some attributes, surround the context. I'm sorry if you hear some background. I had the kids in the other room, and I don't have enough doors to close to not let you hear it. Sorry. Okay, so let's jump into it. We'll not use a Solidus application because it adds too much stuff, and we'll just use a sandbox application within the Deface gem. So for anyone interested in contributing to this gem, which needs some help, and since we all use it in a way or another, I think it deserves our attention, let's say. The process is very simple. You just do a bundle install, and then you can use bin rails, and it will forward any command to the sandbox. The same happens with any extension or even within the Solidus, if you're an extension developer or you ever contributed to Solidus. Let's start the server. Okay. Love and date Deface. Yeah. Okay, so the setup of this is a vanilla Rails application. The additional setup is very simple. That's just a scaffold generation of posts, migrate, add an additional directory into app for the overrides coming, the Deface overrides, and added a simple override, a simple file with 4 overrides. Okay, let's go to that directory. I think I commented everything. Okay, so we can see now this, I created a couple of posts just for showing things. We had these wonderful posts, and that's basically it. So at this point, what can Deface do? Basically, we can target a view from our application. In this case, we are targeting post show. So let's go into the show of this interesting post about foobar. And then we can name our modification. Remember that the name is scoped to the template we are modifying. So we can be, let's say, less specific and just tell what we're doing within that context. And then we issue an action, and this is the replace action. So we are replacing the second paragraph, or better, every paragraph that is a second child of some DOM element. But let's have a look at post show. We have a fourth paragraph for the flash messages, a second paragraph for the title, and a third one for the body. So in this case, we're targeting the second one and replacing it with a wonderful H1 with sparkles, which will make our post look much better. And let's see. So as you see, if we wanted to change the original view, maybe by adding horizontal rule, which is always cool. Oh. Yeah, in that case, it wasn't the second child anymore. If we add, sorry, demo time is always like this. If we add the horizontal rule somewhere, which doesn't impede our selector, okay, we can see, hopefully, that the modification is still there. So I didn't mean to break the view by adding the HR at this point. But this gives us the chance to notice one thing that's still fragile within Deface. So we have this this way of just having the diff of the face of a view we inherited from Solidus. But we must be aware that if the original view changes, it might change in a way that defeats our selector. So this is probably not the best selector, and the better one will be this, I guess. And in this case, we could just do this and add the HR everywhere we want. So this that's also the importance of having reliable selectors, ones that won't change with for example, if there's a graphical, a UI fix, we should try to use selectors that are more reliable. So let's see another couple of changes. This one targets the third paragraph, or better, the paragraph. Let's change it to, this time is the body. Oh, we added a nice gray frame, a modern look to this post. And then we have also these two other. Let's wait. We can go back and we can see our list of posts is really ugly, and we should have the same modifications there as well. So in this case, yeah, we can use the same name because it's scoped on the view path. we'll leave the selectors as is, and we basically do the same change we've done above. So I added these two overrides for the index for a reason, which is works. Okay, which gives us the a good segue into talking about source versus compiled template, because the thing is, we're not changing the final result. Let's see. Okay, so what Deface changes is not the list of posts. It's the original view we use. So in this case, we had this classic iteration on posts. And what I mean is that we are not able to change, for example, how the second post looks. Maybe we'll, I don't know if it's clear. Let's check. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know if it's clear, this difference, because anyway, we can talk about that in the Q&A afterwards. So if we wanted to change just one post of this list, so Deface wouldn't help us too much, because it can, unless we did something a bit crazy, like changing in place the posts variable. But basically, we are touching just the original source. We don't have access within Deface to the real-time runtime data. So we can't change, for example, a post based off the title it has. We cannot select anything that depends that is dynamically generated. So to better understand this, I'll try to explain how it works internally, and maybe I'll open some files from the library itself. Maybe not. I'm not sure it's helpful. Sorry, got a sip. And the way Deface works is that it injects itself into the view rendering. And let's see, I think I can. This is the sandbox. Okay. And that's a couple of methods to the action view template. So the face template, let's see where it's called. Oh, there. Okay, so action view template will prepend this Deface template. And basically, these three methods will intercept and equal to the rendering when the action view template is initialized. We'll try to understand which syntax is being used, because Deface supports by default ERB, but it also supports Hamel and Slim. And knowing the syntax, we know we can, if it's a non-syntax, let's say, we know we can override this template. Otherwise, we'll go with the, this is a little trick that's needed, but it basically calls super. So in the case it's a non-syntax, that is ERB, Slim, or Hamel, the core of the change happens within this call to Deface override. So the Deface override will take basically the source in the form of a string, some details, the syntax that has been identified, and I'm not sure what these details are, but it's something it needs to use, maybe locals and stuff like that. Anyway, so we jump into override, and I already closed all the implementation because we don't want to read 200 lines of code right now. And anyway, the apply method is defined within the applicator. So you see there's a bunch of stuff that's done here. And what happens here is basically that when the application starts, it looks into this overrides folder, this one. Looks for files. There are a couple of formats supported, and it will collect any override we defined. That also supports reloading in development, and basically stores all the overrides within, I think, an hash. Let's say it's an hash. And then when overrides comes along, it will try to find if any applicator. Okay, it tries to find if any of the overrides apply to the current view that's being rendered, and we'll do a bunch of things to basically parse, update, and retransform, let's say, into a string the source. So how it's able to manage and to treat as HTML what basically is ERB or Hamel or Slim is quickly said. It changes ERB into pseudo HTML. So if we take our index view, we can do a quick example. This will become something like, if I'm not mistaken, ERB loud. Loud means we add this little equal here. And then the content of the ERB tag, and oops. Then it closes it. So in this way, we are able to target even ERB code. And we can say, okay, let's change any ERB tag that prints out something and there's a notice within its content. So this is what happens when you send a view through Deface, and it prepares the view in this way. It applies the changes. There's a bunch of let me see, of classes for each action. For example, replace. That's a base class. It looks. I think it parses the result with Nokogiri or some HTML parser, and then looks for the element and does whatever you ask it to do. So for Hamel and Slim, the process is more or less the same, in the sense that it will first convert Hamel and Slim to ERB, and then ERB to this format. And then I think the result will be converted to ERB. So we'll transform your views into ERB internally. Yeah, those things were covered. Let's go for some tips and tricks and things you may not already know even if you use the Deface for a long time. And those are basically the fact that you can preview your changes. Let's see if I can. Are reg tasks, so you can have a list of them, these, and the one I'm looking for is Deface get result. Get result for posts, index, for example. This is very useful because if you're trying to understand what changes you're actually applying, if anything is not working, you might find your answer in this with this method. So basically, it will show us. Let's make it a bit bigger. Show us the original, which is this one. You see the title is still as it was. The list of overrides that it applied, and the result. As you can see, the first TD within the TR is now surrounded by sparkles. And the second one is an additional attribute with a nice gray border. That's one. That's really useful if you're stuck into needing to create some overrides for the face. As you can see, there are some other tasks, and this one I think I never use it, but I think it can be useful if your override is missing somehow. The other one I wanted to talk about is precompile. Precompile, I think it's important, and I'm not sure why, as a community, we are not using it, because it would, I think, noticeably improve the performances of the backend, at least. So precompile, what it does is it basically statically compiles all the views with their overrides, and would more or less write these into some place where Rails in production will be able to just load the view as a normal view. And you at that point you don't even load the face in production. You keep it disabled and save both memory and CPU time. Also, to be noted that Deface is not particularly efficient with those. There's a couple of places that will be easy to optimize and make it more speedy. Let's see if I have anything else to. Okay, yeah. Last thing before the Q&A, there are two formats. As you may have guessed, I prefer the Ruby format, which is this one, very explicit and clear. There's another format which is named, I think, dot override. Let's see. Dot Deface. Yeah. Using the Deface DSL. So we have a simple example here. And basically, you can define within the overrides folder, you can define new files. The file name needs to match the path of the original file, and it needs a comment at the top that defines the action and the selector and then other options, and usually the comments ends up ending many screens to the right. So yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Let's say it's nice. I don't like it particularly. I think it's better to stick to Ruby, and it's more understandable and less let's say not less magic, but more comfy when you have to do changes. You have more tools probably in your editor that can parse Ruby rather than this special comment. Okay, that was the last thing I wanted to talk about. And let's get back to this. Enable the camera and off the screen. So if there's any question or comment or experience or bad experience probably with Deface, let's talk about it. I don't know how we are on time. Yeah, I think I talked for half an hour. Yeah, lots of bad experiences. Yeah. Oh, I have to click the.
Hi, yeah, so if we have any questions, we can post them, but I think we're done for the day. Yeah, thanks, Elia. That was fantastic. I think everybody enjoyed it, and we'll continue talking in the conference space after this. I just wanted to pop in real quick, just remind everybody that we should, if you don't have tickets for SolidusConf, that's next month. So make sure you pick those up. We're going to have a lot of really and presentations, and it's going to be a good time. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Leah. Bye.
See you in the rooms.